Dave. Lath. Right. Welcome back, everyone. We've got week 20 of the Premier League predictions. I've got a very big guest on today. I've got one of my good mates, Harry Josephs. He's up in Manchester. Harry, how you doing, old boy?
I'm very well, thanks, Lath. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. We've got 10 big fixtures. Harry is a very big Foxes fan. Leicester City on a bit of a roll at the minute. What are they now? Third? Are they in the league?
Yes, yeah. Liverpool losing to Burnley kept us in third place, which is delightful.
Yeah, China, Liverpool. Third place for Foxes. Scores 94-91 to me. I thought I'd tighten it up and I got Harry on here, so hopefully he can bridge the gap a little bit. But we're going to go straight into it. Tuesday, 6 o'clock, we've got Palace against West Ham. Two teams on very different forms at the minute. Palace is struggling, kind of been found out a little bit without the likes of Zaha not firing. And West Ham are absolute flying. I think they're up to 7th. Me and Harry had Antonio in our fancy teams, which was gun for us. Nice little 18-point pickup. I think the obvious thing is pick a West Ham win, but Palace at home is just always one of them scrapey, dodgy, gritty ones. But I'm going to give Moyes' boys the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to say a rubbish game, Palace 0, West Ham 1. Harry, what are you thinking?
I'm going for Palace to score, but West Ham to win 2-1.
2-1. Like, have you got West Ham defender in the team, don't you?
Yeah, I've got Cresswell.
Oh, so you're praying for 1-0 or something, but...
Yeah, and I'm not going to be taking Cresswell out my fantasy team, even though my heart is telling me.
Even though you think Palace will back.
Yeah.
All right, next one is Newcastle Leeds, same time on Tuesday. I'm going to let you go first because you've got a little bit of a soft spot for Leeds, don't you?
I do. My girlfriend's dad is an agent for a few of their boys. And I know they've struggled a bit in recent weeks, but Newcastle just look dreadful. They look completely devoid of ideas. And I'm going for Leeds to turn up. I think they're going to beat them 4-0.
4-0, sure.
Yeah.
That is loose. And you got Bamford in your team.
Yep. And I think he is going to bag.
Patrick Bamford, best player in the league. I've been saying it all year. 4-0, geez. The thing is, I remember the other day when we were playing Newcastle, I was watching with my brother and he was like, God, Newcastle looks so bad here when we were 2-0 up. And I was like, don't say that, we'll bottle it and draw 2-2. But looking back at it now, they literally were awful. Like, created nothing. I don't know. I've said, like, people saying Bruce out on that, but I just don't think they have the players anyway. Like, I don't think they're that good.
I think their problem's their owner. It's not Bruce.
Yeah.
Like, they're similar to what they were with Rafa.
Like, what would you say would be a good season for them? What placing?
Staying up, in my opinion. Like, I read something the other day that saying, I don't think Newcastle had sold a player for over 30 million in sort of 5 years or something, which tells you everything about like the caliber of footballer sort of playing for them at the minute.
Exactly. I think they just kind of hope that Callum Wilson was suddenly going to change the whole football club. But the thing is, I've literally bet Leeds wrong every game this year. Every time I've said they'll win, they've bottled it. Every time I've said they've lost, they've won. I think I can't go against Leeds here. Newcastle being so poor. I'm going to say Newcastle 1 because I've got Callum Wilson in my team, but I'm going to say Leeds 3. And I think Leeds will pick up the win. And then...
To be fair,
yeah, go on.
All I was going to say is I'm brave saying that Leeds will keep a clean sheet because that's a bit of a myth. But that is how bad I think Newcastle are.
And also, I looked at a stat today on Sky Sports, which is like chances created, goals. Like, do you know the X goal thing? How many goals you should score? And it's like Newcastle bottom of the league, Leeds literally like top, and it's like complete polar opposites. No doubt Newcastle win 1-0 or something. But
Leeds hit the bar 15 times.
Literally. Then we got Saints against Arsenal 8:15 on Tuesday. I honestly have no idea in this game because Southampton have dipped in and out of form all year. Like, they're a good side. They're a top 10 team probably. But Arsenal have kind of found their form of late. I hate seeing it because I keep getting messages from Arsenal fans when they're ahead of us, even though we played 4 games less than them. But two kind of teams I think are of similar standard. Is Danny Ings playing this week?
Yeah, he played in the FA Cup on Saturday. So
there you go. So, tough one. Just because I'm a bottler and I want to sit on the fence here, I'm just going to say 1-1 and the point's going to get shared because I can see 3 results in this game. But I'm going to say 1-1. Harry, what are you thinking?
I'm like you. I'm really torn, and I almost think that Southampton winning the FA Cup's like a bit almost like a red herring in that Southampton are a brilliant side, but they've got so many injuries. But their first 11 looks decent, but you then look at their bench and they're down to like the bare bones. And Arsenal sort of rotated much more than them in the FA Cup. So I'm going to go for an Arsenal 2-0 win.
2-0, comfortable away from home. That'll be a big result. Same time on Tuesday, last game of Tuesday night, we've got West Brom against City. Two teams at pretty different ends of the table. I'll let you go first here, Ledge. What are you thinking for this one?
I think this could be an annihilation, I reckon. Like, City look good at the minute, don't they? I know De Bruyne is out injured, but you sort of just think like Foden will probably slot in that Premier League side, and they're sort of irresistible at the minute. So I think that City will win this 3-0.
3-0. Not as much as Leeds Newcastle, though. Only the 3.
Oh, that's how bad Newcastle are. Big Sam, a bit more compact at the back.
And you're getting paid by Leeds players to say this on this video.
Yeah, obviously. Dallas.
City and West Brom, honestly, just exactly the same as you. I can't see this being one of those games where Allardyce pulls something out of the hat. I think, if anything, this will be a game that City will probably want to prove that, yeah, De Bruyne is their main go-to, but these other guys are going to step up and be like, we can do it without De Bruyne. Yes, West Brom's not their main issue this season, but I've got them to really deal with West Brom this week. I think this could be a cricket score. I think this could be real bad. And I'm just going to go out there and say it. West Brom 0, Man City 5.
I like it. I love that.
I think Cancelo as well. I really hope Cancelo plays, because when he plays high, he hit the bar against us. He looks threatening. When he came on against Cheltenham on the weekend, he looked really good as well. So I like him for a goal as well. His odds might be decent. Wednesday, 6 o'clock, we got the big one. The boys away at Burnley at Turf Moor. Absolute shine of me, though. 2 weeks in a row, I have to go in and see the doctor about my knee, is when Villa are playing. So that'll be getting slapped on record, or however I can watch it on my phone. This is a tricky one because we played Burnley at home earlier in the year. I think we had like 27 shots, like the most shots ever in a Premier League game, and we drew 0-0. So that was really frustrating. If we don't get 4 points from the 2 games against Burnley, I'll be annoyed. We looked comfortable against Newcastle. Newcastle were junk and we were solid. Barkley got some minutes back. McGinn didn't play because he was suspended. Quality-wise, we should be beating a team like Burnley, but trips to Turf Moor are tough. I know we beat them last year 2-1 away, but we also lost Wesley and Heaton to ACL injury, so hopefully that doesn't come back this year. But I'm going to say we'll do the job. I'm going to say Burnley 0, Villa 2, 3 points for the lads. What are you saying?
I think the improvement in Villa from this time last year is amazing, and it's probably like, I know you said you beat them last year, but it's probably sort of last year this sort of game was sort of cock up essentially for you guys. It was
panic stations in the 90th minute.
Yeah. But I reckon you'll be fine. I think you've got so many good players going forward, and you've also, there's that depth to the squad now, isn't there? Sort of El Ghazi's not played, but he'll possibly come back in. Traore looks like he's really improving. Obviously, there's Grealish, Watkins, who work so hard. I think you'll win, but I think it'll be close. I think you'll win 2-1.
2-1, yeah. Not backing Emi Martinez for a 10th clean sheet. Come on, man.
Fantasy must have.
Yeah, I don't even have him anymore because I had a wild card and I wrecked him. Then we've got Chelsea Wolves. Right, before we talk about Chelsea, Lampard, right decision, yes or no?
No, I think, because I just can't. If you want to make your football club sustainable, then surely you have to give him a bit of time. But then, the other part of me says, no football club really is sustainable. Chelsea have had more success than pretty much anyone sort of in the last 20 years. And no manager, bar probably Jose's first spell, has lasted that long. So
that's fair, yeah.
We played them this time last week and thumped them. They were awful. Yeah. They were absolutely terrible.
You were all over them that game.
Dominating. So in that regard, I'm kind of like, it probably had to go. I find it odd that he managed them against Luton in the cup and then got sacked the day after. That to me is bizarre, but I guess they were making sure they had a replacement lined up. But I'm going to go no. I think that was the wrong decision. What about you?
I was a big no, and I still am a big no to it because I think like you don't just bring in a load of lads and suddenly your team's gone. Like it doesn't work like that. You have to fit them into a system. And I honestly thought that you have to give them long term there with bringing in a load of players like they did. The only thing I'd say potentially is like giving it okay, yeah, fair enough, is that there was a bloke in Thomas Tuchel who was out there and was available to bring in. I know a lot of people have talked about like him possibly getting more out of the likes of Havertz and Werner. So maybe that's the only way you can say, okay, potentially there was a guy weighing in the wings of the quality of him, but I still wouldn't have sacked him. I think it's pretty outrageous.
You can counter it as well, can't you? By like, you look at United, Pochettino was available, and you think, should they've got rid of Solskjaer? They're now top of the league and they've just beat Liverpool in the FA Cup as well. And you think,
yeah, sure.
Blimey. Like,
now we get millions of messages on the WhatsApp group saying Ollie's at the wheel.
Yeah, precisely. So, who knows what will happen, but
yeah,
it seems a bit rash in my opinion.
Exactly. But saying that, with Chelsea Wolves at 6:00, Tuchel won't be there, but I'm going to say it's going to be a game where Chelsea are just going to turn up because this is what happens when you lose a manager for some reason and everyone goes, oh, Lampard should have always been out. And I've actually got them winning this game pretty convincingly. I'm still not sold on Wolves without Jimenez. Just think they're like a solid team, but I don't know. There's too many. I would like to see a strongest central midfielder in there, just to like dictate, like a sort of Ndidi sort of player.
A smasher almost.
Yeah, literally. And then obviously a goal scorer they're just lacking. Fabio Silva looks like he'll be good, but just needs a bit more time.
They've signed a striker today on loan, but
have they? Oh, there you go.
I don't know how it works with quarantine and things if these lads can just come in and play.
So I'm going to say Chelsea are going to win this game, and all the Blues fans will come out of nowhere on Twitter again. So it's going to be Chelsea 2, Wolves 0.
I'm going 0-0. I think it'll be awful. I think Chelsea will be disjointed, and I think Wolves will probably go back to 5 at the back and just be stubborn.
So at the 6:00 kickoffs on Wednesday, you say put on Burnley Villa, not Chelsea Wolves.
Correct. But that's the case anyway, isn't it? This is your pod at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. You better be watching it, otherwise you're never coming on this channel again. Brighton Fulham 7:30. This I actually think could be a gun game because I think these are two sides that are actually quite good going forward. I just feel like Brighton have got a lot of players that just go a bit under the radar. Like I really like McAllister for some reason every time I see him. If Connolly was a little bit more clinical, I think he could be a really good player. But then obviously they've got the likes of Mwape and Trossard and Welbeck, who are the main guys that people talk about. I think this is a huge game for Fulham because if I look at it now and you have to ask me the 3 that are going down, I'd probably say the 3 that are in the bottom 3 at the minute in West Brom, Sheffield United and Fulham, because I don't think they're as good as Brighton or Burnley. Probably Newcastle could be in the mix now as well. Yeah. But if they are going to stay up, games like this are probably ones they've got to try and at least get something away from home. And a win would be massive, not just for 3 points, but for confidence. And saying that, I'm actually going to give Scott Parker the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say he's going to pull something out of the hat. Fulham are going to get back in the mix of trying to stay up. And it's going to be a huge 3 points. And I'm going to say Brighton 1, Fulham 2.
Nice. See, I think both sides' biggest issue is that they're not clinical enough. Watch Brighton against Leeds, and they should have scored so many goals.
Yeah, I didn't watch that game. You said, I remember.
And Fulham schooled us. They completely did us.
Going to Europe.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen much of Fulham since then, but I think this game will be 1-1. I think it'll be chances galore, but I just cannot see there's no obvious goal scorer on either side.
Yeah, that's fair. I think people were hoping Mitrovic was going to be that man, but this never worked out this year.
A bit like Morpay.
Yeah, exactly. 8:15 on Wednesday. I'll let you go first here because it's a big one for you boys. Everton against Leicester at Everton at the Goodison Park. What are we thinking?
We got an awful record at Goodison Park. We just don't win there. Richarlison always scores against us.
Lump.
Yeah, genuinely. If you want to make money, bet on Richarlison to score. We've been brilliant recently, so it seems odd to for that to stop. But like our record at Goodison Park, I can't stress how bad it is. I think we will lose 2-1 tomorrow or Wednesday. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Just quietly, how well isn't James Maddison playing at the minute?
He is hands down been our best player in the last month or so. He's
unreal. Honestly,
and I think.
Yeah, sorry. You
go. I was just going to say, obviously, we've got no Vardy for the next sort of 10 days, they reckon, so maybe 3 games or something.
Yeah.
We'd need Maddison to sort of carry on how he's going, because Perez will probably play up front, and he's obviously no Jamie Vardy. But if Maddison and Barnes play how they have been, Maddison in particular, then you'd like to think we still have a pretty decent goal scoring threat.
There's so many of the things on like Sky Sports and Twitter and stuff, which is like, if you have to take 3 midfielders to the Euros right now, and I'm literally, the way Maddison's playing, I'm like, everyone's playing gun, Grealish, Foden, Mount, Maddison. I'm like, how on earth do you fit them all in?
I wouldn't. You watch Villa much more than me, but I think I've said this to you many times. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't include, like, Grealish goes for me. Don't get me wrong, but he doesn't go in that debate for me, because he is to me, he's a sort of wide left midfielder who can drift, whereas Maddison, he plays for Leicester as a number 8 in central midfield. Mount they play in the same position essentially, play on the left of a midfield 3.
Yeah.
And like Foden drifts a bit more, I guess.
He's more like Grealish-esque, yeah.
I would want to take all 4. Like, I just can't see who's an obvious one to not take. The only thing I will say is Maddison's been good for a month, whereas Grealish and Foden have been very good all season, and Mount for that. So he needs to sort of keep building on how he's been in the last month, because he's had all sorts of niggles and problems like that. So staying fit and keep on sort of assists, goals, then surely he has to go.
Yeah, I think someone like Sancho might be in danger if these lads keep playing well, because at the end of the day, you've only got 11 places, and the way Southgate's played in the qualifiers is like 3 defenders with 2 central midfielders, 2 like Rice and Henderson. So we don't have that many options we can just throw in there. So it'll be interesting to see how they go. Everton Leicester, tough one. I don't know. I've been umming and ahhing because I've got either Michael Keane or Holding to put in my team. And I don't know. Like you said, your record at Goodison Park's not great without Vardy, a main man who, this is a game where I feel like there could be just a long ball. Vardy just has his magic one-on-one. I feel like it could have been that sort of game for Leicester, and not having that outlet might be a bit tough for Everton. So I'm going to say Everton 1-0, but for your sake, I hope it's 3 points for the Foxes, because I do love watching Leicester do well.
I will also add that we cannot defend set pieces, so Michael Keane is a good bet for a goal.
Yeah, fair. Well, he better bag now.
Hugh Holding clean sheet and brace, and us to win 3-0.
Yeah, brilliant. United, Sheffield United. I mean, I can't bet Sheffield United here. United look gun. We both talked about before we start recording that Bruno are our captains for this week. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I think United win this game and win comfortably. I'm going to say United 2, Sheffield United 0.
I'm going 3-0 United.
There you go. Short and sweet. And then Thursday, this is the big one. It's fair to say the WhatsApp group that me and Harry are on could be absolutely kicking off, because it's Spurs against Liverpool. I mean, Liverpool have to get something here, surely. I don't know what's happened. They've completely fallen out of form. I think we probably took for granted how good they were in that spell when they were unreal, because to be like the best team in the Premier League the way it is now for such a long period of time is literally impossible. I also like Harry Kane in this game because he always bags in big games. He just always does it. Again, I honestly don't know. I honestly think that Liverpool's struggles will continue here. Mourinho masterclass. I think was it 0-0 Liverpool Leicester Liverpool Spurs early in the season, I'm pretty sure.
No, it was 2-1. Liverpool scored really late.
Oh, was it?
It was a really good game. It was on like a Wednesday night on Prime.
Oh,
so
right.
I remember like getting the goal notification before it came through on the screen, which
cheers.
is my real hate of the Premier League this year.
Yeah, it's just because it's online streaming, isn't it? That's really good research for me. I thought it was 0-0. Well, that might change my prediction. Okay. I'm gonna say 1-1. I'm gonna bottle it and say a point each.
Sit on the fence more.
Yeah.
Um, Liverpool is at Spurs, and
That's Spurs.
Liverpool have been dreadful away. The only thing I will say was they looked menacing going forward at Old Trafford, whereas in the away games prior to that they hadn't. So I think Liverpool will score, but I think they will lose again. I think Spurs will win 2-1, and I think Son and Kane, who are both in my fantasy team, will come up trumps.
I racked Son. Why did I rack Son? He's going to back now, isn't he?
The top scoring midfielder in the league
I
in
know.
terms of fantasy points.
I just thought, I don't know why Spurs were going to have a bit of a drop, but
They have struggled in games against sort of what you'd call the lesser teams. They go 1-0 up, try and then just sit back and they have conceded.
Like that game against Palace, I remember when they went 1-0 up and just
did nothing. I think they had the same issue against Fulham.
Yeah, good side Fulham though. Anyway, that's our picks. We've actually gone quite long there. We've dragged on a bit, but hopefully 3 points for Villa and Foxes. Cheers, Ledge, for coming on. Appreciate that a lot.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'll chuck your Instagram in the link to get all these people that watch this video to get you that blue tick that I know you've already turned down beforehand. But yeah, hopefully we'd get some good results, some good picks. England 2-0 against Sri Lanka, easy. And yeah, that's it for us. Cheers, Ledge.
Thank you, buddy.